G'day guys, and welcome to the first episode of a new series I'm going to produce on YouTube and on Facebook, which I'm calling Ask Steve. It's a very, very simple idea. I get questions pretty much every day. I'll get 2 or 3 questions. They come through Facebook Messenger and by email from people who are planning their own road trips around Australia. And they basically got questions about, should we do this, should we do that, how do I set up my vehicle, and just lots of technical questions. And it's great. I love it. I love answering questions for people. The whole point of our business really is to help people to get inspired and informed about how to go out and do the big lap, how to take a year or 2 off and drive around Australia. So I spend some time every day replying to just about all these questions. And I was thinking, this is crazy. I'm often answering the same question over and over again to different people. I thought I should just set the camera up and record my answer on video, stick it online, and then I can answer it to multiple people all at once. So that's it. That's a simple idea. Now I'll say it up front now. If you want to send me a question, I've created a special email address just for it. It's asksteve@thebiglap.tv. Now thebiglap.tv is not our main website. Our main website here is expeditionaustralia.com.au, but we use the Big Lap TV for because it's nice and short and easy to remember. It's like a short URL, and so if you send it to asksteve@thebiglap.tv, that'll get to me. And if I think it's a good question for the community, I'll make a video and answer it for you. If not, I'll just reply back and give you an answer directly. So anyway, the first question I've got today is from Ian McIntosh, and he sent me this not knowing that I was going to answer it on video. So hopefully you don't mind, Ian. It's a bit of a bonus. You get to be number one. So I'll read out Ian's question, and then I'll give you my answer. So he says, "Hi Steve, I'm looking at tackling the Gibb River Road this year. I have a 2004 GXL Toyota Prado, and I tow a small off-road caravan, which is a Bushranger Joey. My question is, do you think my standard suspension is adequate for a trip like this? I've recently had it checked and it appears to be okay. 2 years ago, I travelled the Unadata track in the same car and van with no problems. I don't really want to upgrade my suspension if I don't have to. My car's only done 150,000 kilometres, so it's not a lot for its age. If anything, I was thinking of maybe just replacing the shocks with the normal Toyota ones it currently has. Your feedback would be much appreciated. Thanks in advance. Keep on travelling." Thanks, Ian. Good question. Well, I've driven the Unadata track and the Gibb River Road multiple times, and I would say that your standard suspension, if it's proven itself on the Unadata track, it should be fine for the Gibb River Road. The Unadata track varies in its roughness. Sometimes it's fairly smooth and sometimes it can be quite rough. But overall, I would say the Unadata track is a bit smoother than the Gibb River Road. The Gibb River Road is not certainly one of the worst tracks or one of the worst roads in Australia. At the start of the season, it's generally been graded and it's reasonably smooth, and then throughout the season being sort of March through to about September, October, it generally deteriorates. So if your vehicle can handle the Unadata track, I would say it should be fine on the Gibb River Road. The trick is to just take it easy. Don't try to do it at 110 kilometres an hour. Just go slower, take your time, and that'll give you more of a chance to avoid washouts and ruts and serious bumps and rocks and things which could actually damage your suspension. Also, give yourself plenty of time to take breaks, let your shockers cool down. Now, speaking of shockers, you did mention should you upgrade your shockers, and I would say yes, you should. If you've still got the original shockers on after 150,000 Ks, then replace those with some good aftermarket ones. And firstly, you'll notice a massive improvement in the smoothness of the ride. And secondly, they'll be far better equipped for tackling the Gibb River Road. Now, on our Land Cruiser 80 series, it's done just on about 420,000 kilometres now. We've had it since 90,000 kilometres. So in the time we've had it, 330,000 odd kilometres that we've done in the 80 series, we're on our 3rd set of shocks that we've put on it. So we put on a set of Old Man Emus on it pretty much as soon as we bought it, along with raised coils, so that we lifted it in about 3 inches thereabouts. set of old man emus then. We put on another set of old man emus at the start of the big lap trip, and then I put on another set, would it be about 40,000 k's ago. So I look at shockers as having a lifespan of roughly about 100,000 kilometres. Certainly if you're doing off-road work, if you were just driving around town and it was all simple driving, then you probably wouldn't need to replace them that often. But you know, our 80 series has done a lot of work. Obviously it's done the big lap and many other road trips in around that. So I mean, the big lap trip was 46,000 kilometres, but we've done over 300,000 kilometres, and I'd say that probably, you know, at least another 50,000 k's of that was other trips back to Kimberley, back to Cape York, up to the centre, all over the place. Just a couple of other things to think about, Ian, are to make sure that you've got the right tyres. At the very least, you want an all-terrain, but a mud-terrain tyre is also good. Make sure they're light truck construction, so they're nice and solid and heavy duty. That'll avoid hopefully getting any punctures or blowouts. There are a couple of water crossings on the Gibb River Road, at least two significant ones. You've got the Durack River and the Pentecost River. The headlights now. We've got plenty of traction though, so we're not going to be stopping anytime soon. Oh dear.
Far out. Just keep going.
Go baby, come on! Come on! And if you're early in the season, they can be quite deep, anything up to about 1 metre deep. So make sure you've got a snorkel. I still think you can get through with standard suspension because the bottom of the rivers is pretty solid, pretty rocky and firm, so you're not likely to get bogged. You just need to be able to deal with the water coming up high in your vehicle, so you want a snorkel. And if you haven't got a snorkel, then you definitely want some sort of a tarp over the front of the car. But personally, I wouldn't go along the Gibb River Road or any of these major roads around Australia without a snorkel. It just, to me, is just absolutely mandatory. Even if not just for the crossing of rivers, but it keeps the air inlet up high and will reduce the amount of dust that gets in your engine. Once you get off the Gibb River Road, you're going to find the tracks are smaller and rougher. And once again, I still think you can do it with your standard suspension, especially if you've upgraded the shock absorbers. But just take it easy. And just keep in mind that, you know, the slower you go, the safer it is, basically. So that's it, Ian. That's my advice in a nutshell. I think your suspension should be fine because it's basically proven itself already on the Udidata track. Go ahead and upgrade your shockers just because you'll appreciate the improvement in ride and it will make it more reliable. And also don't forget to take breaks and you know, give your suspension a chance to cool down, especially the shockers, and also give yourself a chance to you know, drive slower so that you have plenty of time to avoid crashing into washouts and hitting big rocks and bumps and things, which are the things that will ultimately break something along the way. If you've got a question for me, send it to asksteve@thebiglap.tv email address. And the more questions I get, the more videos I'm going to make. It's pretty simple for me to set the camera up here and make a video. So hopefully I'll be doing this on a regular basis and answering all your questions. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again in the next one.